少年ジャンプス。
We might be dying, but we're not dead yet. Hey, what the fuck is up? How's it going? How are you? Welcome back to Shonen Chumps, the only anime podcast on the gosh darn internet that features the three of us. As always, I'm Brennan.
I'm Sean.
I'm Dylan.
And welcome one, welcome all to this fucking freak show circus that we have. If you didn't know what we do here, we watch anime, and then we get together, and then we talk about it, and we love you. This week we watched an anime, or at least half of an anime. This is our second half episode, or not half episode.
Season episode.
Yeah, half season episode. First one being Pop Team Epic. But anyways, the anime that we did watch this week was Megalo Box.
So as always, if you're listening to this podcast and you like us and you want to talk to us or hear from us, you can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at shonenchumps. We're also on Facebook, blah, blah, blah. You can email us again if you'd like.
Yeah, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can probably find our shit.
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and any other app that you get your podcast from, and of course SoundCloud.
If you're a rapper,
them
all
hosting
the
us.
rappers out there, yes.
Yeah, you can rate us on iTunes if you'd like.
None of you have done that yet. We specifically asked you to, and you haven't. What the fuck is going on, guys?
If you rate us on iTunes and send a message, or like type up anything in the review, I'll read it out on the podcast. I don't care what it is.
You have the Sean seal of approval.
Yeah.
It can be as raunchy as you want. It can
I have
be a
no
message.
Moral code.
Yes.
I can vouch for that.
We've seen it in action. But yeah, anyways, hope y'all have been well. I hope y'all have been watching all that hot, tasty, fresh spring anime.
Yeah.
Because we sure as fuck have.
Like this show. And speaking of Megalo Box, what do you guys think about it in one sentence so far?
Okay. Yeah, so this is the first 6 episodes we're commenting on. And so I'm going to say my sentence is a question, actually.
Whoa. This is
Oh, no,
new.
wait. But it's like a self-reflective question. I'm not asking you guys to answer it.
Okay.
Right.
Whoa, ... Is this the best anime show we've watched on the podcast? ? Wait, sorry. Is this the best recent anime show we've watched on the podcast? ? Recent, meaning
Nice.
the last 3 years, anything that we reviewed that came out in the last 3 years.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Okay. Sean?
This has potential to be a good sports anime.
Nice.
Yeah, okay. That's it. Brennan?
My sentence is, Mamma Mia, that's a spicy meatball. I really like this show. Okay. That's all I got.
Nice.
That's it.
So basically why I said recent anime is because I wanted to negate
Cowboy Bebop?
Cowboy Bebop,
Right.
and I wanted to negate Death Note
Right.
from being considered in this. And yeah, so I just wanted to, because I'm not sure about those, but the question
So
is one that could be answered with a yes. Who knows? I'm not sure yet.
I think it
could be.
It's definitely a contender for brand new anime that we've watched.
Yeah.
It's fucking up there, or at least it has the potential to be. Let's just get this out of the way. It's so close. Well, not so close, but like it digs deep and it pulls out the look and aesthetic and the shit that goes through your brain when you're watching Cowboy Bebop to a degree.
Yeah, I think it's really trying hard to do that.
Yeah.
To be like Cowboy Bebop. I just fucking fucked that up. Cowboy Bebop for like a new
Generation.
age. Yeah.
Yeah. Like even as far as the main character, like Joe goes,
Yeah.
like his hair.
I want to talk about that. Do you
his
think
attitude.
that it is like it seems like they're going for you to be like, this guy looks like Spike? Do you think that that's intentional, or do you think that it just happens?
I think I kind of loved him out of the gates because I was like,
he was
oh my
Spike.
god, it's Spike.
Yeah, like my first thing was like, all right, Spike as a boxer, cool. A guy who moves like water.
Oh man, yeah, he dropped kung fu for boxing.
Yeah, he does seem very spiky. And his trainer guy seems
Almost jet-like.
he's
Yeah,
they're not really anything like the characters in Cowboy,
Right.
but they kind of fit the
age
archetype.
yeah, and kind of maybe like the age difference. It's
Yeah.
like, no, actually, Jet's not supposed to be that old. It looks like
Right.
we just
quite
think
old.
he's 50.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Jet's supposed to be like 35. But
Yeah.
you just think of him as like a
Right.
dad figure.
Yeah. I think if you walked into a futuristic bar, you could see Jet and his trainer drinking together.
What?
You mean Spike? Wait.
Like Jet and the fucking
Oh.
boxer guy. Like,
Oh, the
they're,
trainer
like they would
and
be
Jet.
friends in an alternate universe.
Oh,
Right. Right.
A
Yeah, I
fucking
can see that.
futuristic cowboy
okay,
bar
I
somewhere
understand.
on Venus.
I could see
Or
that.
something like that.
And there's the kid.
Right, who's kind of like
they
Radical
going for
Edward a little
Edward?
bit.
Yeah.
Bit of
Kind of,
tech
but not really.
genius.
Yeah. Maybe there's a female character we don't know about
Yeah.
that's going to be Faye.
Yeah.
That would be
Faye.
nice. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. But I still think it's like the entire time I was watching it, not that I was comparing the two necessarily, because they are two very, very different anime, even in their structure. Maybe aesthetically they're kind of similar, but like I was trying not to compare them because I was like, they're apples and oranges at the end of the day.
They
'Cause this
both
is a-
end with a sentence. Like
right
on the screen.
even that.
Not dead yet.
See his
Yeah,
face,
yeah,
cowboy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what they're almost going for is just like the subconscious emotional attachment that we might already have to Cowboy Bebop, because
Yeah.
it gives you that same feelings in its like visual style, like completely,
Yeah.
and the way the story is being told. When Brennan the way we got to doing this podcast is Brennan shared a video of talking about some of the upcoming spring animes, and Megalo Box was on there, and the host of the video mentioned that the studio went so far as to down-res their footage
Yeah,
and
right.
then re-up-res it so that it looked like something from the 90s.
Which I think
Right.
is insane. That's so cool.
I think that's so cool, dude.
Yeah.
I think that that's a cool idea on paper, but while I was while I was actually watching the show, it didn't seem to like come off that well.
Right.
Like when I first started up the show, I was switching between 1080p and 720p. And I was like, why can't I get this show to look clear?
And you're like, oh,
Right. And then I remembered what Dylan said about the show because I hadn't watched the video. That
Right.
they
Okay,
intentionally
yeah.
down-resed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it immediately felt nostalgic. And actually, there was one other thing that I wanted to point out about the show that, to me, it felt nostalgic. I noticed that. So this show, we can say, takes place in a universe very similar to ours in the near future.
Right.
And what I noticed is that even though this is a show from 2018, this is not what the future. This doesn't look like what 2018 people think the future will look like. This looks like what 90s people
Thought the
early
future would
90s
look like, yeah.
would look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dude, 'cause it's
the
got that aesthetic, yeah.
The technology, there's like a lot of like knobs and stuff still. It's not all like touchscreens and stuff like that.
It's very
things
geary,
are like boxy and geary. Yeah, like
Kind of like Trigun.
Yeah.
Cowboy Bebop.
yeah,
all that
and like
shit.
Ghost in the Shell kind of, they're all like painting the future, but it doesn't
Right.
look
Like, I don't know if
where the future actually is or what it will probably look like. It's like they intentionally went
kind of
into
Mad
that
Maxy,
mindset.
sort
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
I don't know if this has
junkyard
anything to
shit.
do with it, but
yeah.
could that be in part to the fact that it's based on a manga that's 50 years old?
Well, yeah, so I guess we should talk about that. So it's being made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Ashita no Joe, which is a boxing manga. But
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe viewers at home, if you know, I don't know how similar it is to the original story.
Right.
Like, is this like a retelling, or is this inspired by?
I think it's
a
inspired
tribute?
by, because I read the Wikipedia summary of the original.
And it's just a boxing manga.
It's just like, it seems like it's just a boxing manga.
Yeah.
With, like, the main character is an orphan, and he's, like, in jail, and he comes up with a rivalry with another boxer inside of jail.
Oh, shit.
And stuff. Yeah, like, it seems
Sounds
interesting.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
A bit more hardcore, and
A bit more shanking involved.
yeah.
Nice.
Might have a little more of, like, a story or like a lesson to be learned in it than this more recent one seems to have.
So it could be potentially calling back to the visual aesthetic of Ashita no Joe as well, and that might have informed some of their decisions. I guess that makes sense, yeah.
I mean, I have no exposure to that, so I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I would actually be surprised if something that old was already doing the sort of futuristic like dystopian world type of deal, because like you see in those like beautiful like cityscape stills, almost like they're animated like very little when they come up, and they're just like big paintings more or less of just like Joe as like a kid looking at the cityscape, or like an establishing shot of just like the junkyard area that they're in, or like the guy's like repair shop or whatever. And it's always like super big and expansive, but there are like futuristic buildings in the background and stuff. There's like a skyline, so it's not like we're seeing like the restricted areas and like the dirty, more rundown parts, but there is like a more like sophisticated, like classy, futuristic type of shit, which we see later in like when we see, I don't remember the lady's name, but it's like the person who's at the head of that company that's running Megalonia.
Yukiko, I think.
Yeah,
I believe you. But yeah, when we see her and like sort of the tech she's using, and like even like the screens on which some of those like boxing fights are like advertised and stuff, it's like, oh word, this is like a futuristic place. And even in that scene when Joe is like, he's on his usual route of driving off of cliffs and shit to deal with the pain of having to throw fights for a living, like he just gets his ass beat for a living. And we see him drive onto the restricted highway towards like the Megalonia Coliseum, I guess. And then he almost hits her and shit. We can see a bit more of like the actual city and stuff, like in the earlier episodes, like before Joe gets anywhere near that area later on in the series. And it's like, oh shit, there's more to this than just like desert and junkyard aesthetic, you know?
Right. So does he call himself Joe to make us feel like he's a regular Joe and any one of us could be a boxer?
I think Joe is just like the standard name for like a Japanese boxing protagonist.
Right.
Case in point, Punch Out.
Is that guy's name Joe?
I think.
I don't know what that is, but I mean,
isn't his name like Mini Mike or something? I'm like not even kidding.
I know it's Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and you fight Mike Tyson. He doesn't have a face tattoo.
I'll Google his name quickly.
I feel like it's like Kid Joe or something like that.
Okay,
Anyways.
well, all I was going to say is, I guess we'd have to ask the question about why the original boxer in Ashita no Joe is Joe, right?
I mean,
because like they wouldn't. I don't see a reason why they would deviate there. Like, why would they change the name? Right?
Yeah, right. I feel like maybe, if anything, calling this current character
Little Mac.
Mac. Okay, you're right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
why
not
I thought
right.
Joe.
I said Mini Mike.
Right. Same difference.
Yeah.
Why did I think Joe? Is there another Joe out there?
I don't know. Beautiful Joe?
Beautiful. Oh.
That's not a boxer.
He's not a boxer.
Smoking Joe Fraser, who's a real boxer. Famous.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Sure.
Anyway, but I think Joe is also kind of just like a really like it's just a standard name.
It's like John
Doe. And I think it kind of paints almost like an identity on him that he could just be anyone, right? Like, I don't know, it would say more, it's like, what could you say about a man if he like chose the name like Bradford? You'd be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Right? But like Joe is just like, I don't know, I feel like I don't associate any particular qualities with the name Joe,
right.
like John, like John Smith, like that kind of
John
thing.
Doe. Yeah, he doesn't have a last name either,
Yeah,
which is funny.
Yeah, they just entered Joe. I thought that was really
so
funny
what's the
too.
name you're gonna pick for yourself? Joe.
Yeah, when they show the standings, like every person has a name, and he just says Joe.
Imagine if he stepped up to the plate and he's like, "I'm Chadwick Boseman." You'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Go away.
That's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Whoa. Jeez, I liked Black Panther.
Whoa, so did I.
Yeah, it would be weird if you didn't.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Would it be weird?
Well,
Anyways.
you always like to take the hot take, so maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of odd. I was kind of expecting him more to go by his nickname, Junkyard Dog or Junk Dog.
Junk Dog,
Right.
yeah.
But that's not a real person's name. I think
Right.
that's why he chose Joe.
I thought he was just going to be like anonymous forever, and that was just
Right.
going to be it. And he's like, "My name's Junk Dog."
Instead, his name is Gearless Joe.
Yeah.
like
Because he doesn't have gear.
Yeah,
because in this universe, in case you haven't watched the show, everybody has some sort of exoskeleton just on their arms,
yeah, right.
and they use it to punch harder and better.
for mecha punches.
Yeah.
and to block, I guess.
So when I first saw this, I was expecting Megalo Boxing to be like some crazy ass fucking dope ass fast punching Dragon Ball Z shit. It turns out that like no, you can just not have gear and still compete.
It's just boxing,
which I guess is just the lesson from the show. Like, oh, anyone could do it. You just gotta
right.
believe.
It's like he's so skilled that like he doesn't need the extra power. He can just sort of like time it well enough that
Yeah.
he
Right.
Which-
fucks the other person up.
Which is kind of cool, but really let me down on the promise of boxing with exoskeletons on your arms.
Dude, I feel like there could have been maybe a bit more extravagance there. I mean, maybe we have yet to see it
yeah.
because good old metal arms.
When I
what's
first
his name?
when I
Yuri.
first saw the
Yuri.
metal arms, I wasn't thinking Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I was thinking Nintendo's arms.
Oh yeah,
Like the fucking arms extending
You're
across the
right.
stage, like
yeah.
people fighting with their hair and shit. Their hair is arms.
Yeah.
Crazy ass shit. Dylan
man.
has no idea
I
what we're
have
talking
no
about.
idea what you're talking about. I just want to say that I actually liked that it was a simple kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know what it is, but I've always really liked boxing and
yeah.
not the actual live sport. Oh wait, actually, I guess that's not super incredibly true. I liked Muhammad Ali a lot, but I really like stories about boxing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think boxing just feels like a really classic old-timey sport, that now it's probably filthy, and I'm sure there's a lot of just matches thrown, and it's a lot
People
of just
putting
making
barbed
tons
wire
of
on their gloves.
just making tons of
happen?
money.
I don't know.
But I don't know, it just feels like an old kind of classic sport. I really loved the movie Ali. I really liked Cinderella Man.
Yes.
You know?
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah, $1 Million Baby is really a really powerful film. My great grandfather was a boxer, so
Whoa,
that's kinda
yeah,
cool
right.
too.
That's cool.
Not professionally, but he used to box and stuff
Nice.
when in his 20s.
He owned a
just-
pair of gloves.
Just beat people
Well, maybe
up.
semi-professionally. I don't know.
he just told his kids he was a boxer.
Yeah.
Just walk
No,
around
I've seen a
punching
photo. It's
people.
really cool of him like this,
Oh, shit.
a
In the
super
old-time
old timey photo. It's from
fisticuffs.
1918.
Holy
Right,
shit.
damn.
It's really cool.
That's sick.
Anyway, yeah.
Did he have a
So
mustache?
no, dude, he's
Damn.
clean shaven.
Do you think,
Anyway, this whole thing
Do you
just
think
feels
70 years from now, some kids will be like, my great grandfather was an esports player? Standing there with a fucking controller.
It's like
playing Call
a
of Duty.
faded picture of some idiot with a headset with cat ears on. It's
Yeah,
like-
playing fucking Halo 6. Oh, God.
Anyway, yeah, so something about that just feels classic and cool.
Nice.
The
Right.
whole anime
Yeah,
just
yeah.
feels classic and cool. And
Yeah.
I think just boxing in general also plays into this nostalgia factor. Right? It feels like we're watching something old-timey.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got that feeling. Yeah, combat sports are fucking cool in real life. The best one being professional wrestling. Duh.
Wait, you were being sarcastic, but I used to watch WWE as a kid, so...
I've heard from too many different semi-smart people that
Wrestling's
professional
sick.
wrestling is actually sick and it's some of the best storytelling ever.
Dude,
Oh, shout out
Okay,
Super
so-
Eye Patch Wolf.
Dude, seriously, late 90s, early 2000s, it was real interesting.
It's like
They were
the
doing
most
something.
hack-
They were
Dude.
doing something. I can't speak to earlier. I'm sure that was great too. But they were doing something really cool in that time.
Dog.
Okay.
It hadn't
Wrestling-
gone too insane yet with storylines. It was
Wrestling
sick.
is anime, man.
Yeah.
It's the most
Sure, I guess
intense betrayal arc you've ever seen in your life.
I can't get into the,
the whole
costumes.
thing is one big betrayal arc.
Right.
I
Oh,
need
fair
it to
enough.
look differently aesthetically for me to be in. I think.
Yeah, I can't speak to it now. I haven't watched wrestling in like 15 years. But
It's probably still sick.
yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who knows, dude?
So Gearless Joe is trying to rise through the ranks, right?
Yeah.
Like super
Yeah.
fast because he has no gear, or he's trying to get attention so people
That's
want to
the
fight him
gimmick,
because he has
yeah.
no
Right,
gear.
yeah,
Right.
that's like the plan.
It's like,
it
who's
just happens.
this-
They're like poor, they don't have any money, and so they figure out, I don't know, I guess
Like-
Nambu like just figures out an angle, right?
a couple episodes in, I'm like, okay, they're going to keep doing these fights and then not have any gear so that they can get attention. But later on, they're going to get gear. But by episode 6, which is the one that we just watched, I'm like, are they ever going to get gear? Or is like that the
Yeah.
trope of the show? Like,
Right.
Gearless Joe is just who he is
That's
from now
his-
until the end.
His
yeah.
dragoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you explain that reference?
Beyblade. Yeah, the main character Tyson has Dragoon, the bit beast inside of his Beyblade,
That's
which
what
is
makes
the
his-
magical like dragon that's 1,000 years old that he summons from it.
Right.
It's not a one-to-one comparison to this necessarily.
I still don't exactly. It's funny,
Yeah.
I watched Beyblade, and that sounds vaguely familiar, but
Right.
I didn't totally get it. So thank you for that.
It's
Shout
his,
outs to anyone who followed along with every word that I said.
It's his agape.
So yeah, okay, that's
Another-
Yuri. I got that one.
That was
Once
very
again,
nice.
not a one-to-one reference, but something like that. So yeah, I was gonna say that I actually had the same thought as you, Sean, and I guess when that started happening, when those thoughts, I guess, were in my mind, I started to realize that, I guess because maybe, I don't know, would you call this a sports anime? Because
Yeah.
it like is, but I don't know. There's something more here. It feels.
I showed
right?
the trailer of the show to a friend of mine today, and he's like, "Oh, so this is a shonen." And I'm like,
Okay,
not really.
So
Like that is the demographic, but this show's only 13 episodes. It's not going to be 130.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what I was gonna say was like I started to realize that I could kind of predict what was gonna happen. Like he's gonna win these matches,
Right.
And in the episode 6, it seemed like maybe he was gonna lose, and that was interesting. I was like, okay, maybe they'll do something unexpected. Maybe he'll lose this match, but like I don't know, maybe he'll win the next match. I don't know. I wasn't exactly sure. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Like it was getting almost predictable, or maybe some of the things that happened were predictable, but I was still along for the ride. Like I was still having a
totally.
very strong emotional response to it all.
Yeah, no, I feel
So
that.
what does that mean? Like, you know,
I think
it's doing something right.
you guys are right.
Yeah.
I definitely felt that sort of unstoppable shonen-ness of it. Like as long as I believe in my dreams, I can do whatever. Like, you know. So I was kind of like, okay, so he's just going to win every fight no matter what. But there were times when the show did kind of throw me for a loop a little bit, where I was like, oh, maybe it'll continue to throw me for a loop, and maybe he'll lose, and maybe they'll find some way around it. Like, at the end of the day, he's going to make it, I think. But also, it might be a more interesting journey than just, oh, this next guy's even stronger. Oh, this next guy's even stronger. Because, like, there was a point where it just sort of turned into a montage. Like, after we saw, I think it was after the Shark Man
he
fight.
won fight 1, and then it montaged fight 2 and 3.
Because, like, we didn't need to
Right.
see him just sort of cream all these guys.
Whoa. What is this, Yuri on Ice?
But that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we could just continue. It's like, okay, what's the next major plot point of the series? And we weren't even like 4 episodes in. So I was like, okay, maybe they're going to just like gloss over some of the power creepishness of it.
And that was a
Also,
good choice.
Yeah,
think,
I
to
thought so
montage
as
those
well.
two.
It made it a lot
Yeah.
less. It definitely didn't take away from the parts of the show that stood out as like, oh, this is like so different from what's like the current landscape of like seasonal anime that we've been watching. It's like, oh, this stands out so much. Why? Because it does cool shit. It has a cool visual aesthetic. One of the things that threw me for a loop, I thought when the kid was gonna go and steal back that set of arms, that was like the prototype to Yuri's arms. I was like, oh, this is gonna be his like ace in the hole. This is gonna be like, oh, like he's gonna have the version 1 of it, but it's gonna be better in his hands because he's a better boxer, and he's gonna kick everyone's ass with it, and everyone's gonna be like, whoa, where'd you find those? And it's like, in a
And
river
it got
from
destroyed.
an orphan. Yeah, and then it got destroyed like almost immediately. And I was like, well, shit, now what? And then when they were like, oh, Gearless Joe, I was like, well, fuck.
Actually, yeah, that was great. I didn't see that coming. That was super cool. Like, I was expecting him to put it on and just, like, kick mad ass, and then it would be like, this is our way to the top.
Yeah.
And it would have been very shonen-y if that was the case, right?
Yeah. So I'm happy it didn't go that route.
Yeah. So, Sean, you just mentioned also that someone said, oh, it's a shonen. You said not really. I had a really similar experience. I met up with a friend earlier this week, and we were chatting a little bit, and he likes anime as well. And I had only watched 2 episodes of Megalo Box, and I said to him, you got to check out this new anime. And I explained a little bit about it, and then he said, oh, it's a shonen. And I said, no, it's not.
But like it trips you up and you're like,
Yeah.
wait, is it?
Yeah, and actually, so I wanted to ask you guys about it because, I mean, I still say that I know less about anime than you guys. You guys always like say like, oh, that gap is closing, and I probably agree, but like I don't know the different categories of anime, so I don't know what is this? Is this part shonen, part sport, part something else? Like what do you guys think?
On Wikipedia, this is listed as a shonen. I just want to bring that up. But yeah, it seems, I don't know, maybe more like a sports anime.
Yeah, I mean, like, this can definitely appeal to a shonen audience. I can see how, but at the same time, its aesthetic is almost too serious. Like, I feel like a lot of, like, all the big popular shonen anime are very, like, colorful. They're very, like, clean, polished. Like, if you look at, like, Naruto, One Piece, even, like, Dragon Ball, it's like, oh, like, you know what it is when you're looking at it. And when you're looking at this, you're like, this is an adult anime. Just based on the aesthetic alone. So maybe that's where it's tripping us up. It just looks like it's Cowboy Bebop or Ghost in the Shell, but in reality, the story progression or like just even the appeal of it is probably aimed a bit younger than it might appear to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not defined by like a single age group.
Yeah,
so I was reading a little bit about the original series, and the main character has a rivalry with their fucking rival that I guess they meet in jail.
Yeah.
And then when they defeat them, they accidentally kill them by like causing brain damage, like slamming them in the temple too many times.
Hey.
Yeah, and they feel distraught over it. But apparently, so many people in Japan cared about this main character and the person that the main character killed that they held a funeral for them in real life.
What?
And 700 people showed up. This is like 1970.
Holy shit.
And
That is
70
so
people,
sick.
or sorry,
That's
700
even crazier
people.
because it was 1970.
Yeah, 700 people showed up for this funeral of a fictional character. And there was even like a priest there, just like,
Holy
like a legit
fuck.
priest. And they were like in a boxing ring, like all like,
The priest also liked manga.
yeah, like paying their respects to this character. Like this character, Joe or whatever, is like a Japanese icon that I wasn't aware of until now. I guess that's
sick.
why this show is getting a 50th anniversary
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Is because they
Special.
care.
Yeah, it's clearly a big.
So maybe
big
this
deal.
isn't meant to be a shonen. It's just meant to be like fucking for everyone. For
Right.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's kind of like
Somebody
how,
Japanese, let me know.
yeah, it's definitely transcending the borders of different genres,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and
kinda
that's
like,
what makes the show unique. It feels like one of the most unique shows we've watched.
no question.
It's interesting that you say this, because like I didn't feel the same way. I felt like the visuals were really interesting, and I could tell that it's popular because of how it looks, but I can't tell that it's popular based on like the content of the show itself. Like if it looked different, I feel like it wouldn't have caught on. And maybe I guess if it wasn't based on this character,
I
or
think
whatever.
that this is like the final of what Megalo Box is greater than the sum of all its parts.
Right, yeah.
So maybe not one specific thing is like incredible, like you'd say, like you got to watch Megalo Box for the visuals. It's just like all around checking like every box.
Yeah, it's just
I
like
don't know.
a combination of elements that we just haven't seen together at this point.
Yeah.
So far, or at least in recent memory.
Is it?
Can you think of something that combines
You
everything?
mean like
that it does?
literally has boxing in it?
Yeah,
No.
I mean like sort of like the boxing competitive, almost tournament arc-ish feel to it, but not being a tournament arc in a shonen anime, and then having this sort of adult aesthetic, but sort of appealing to sort
People
of
of all
a wider
ages?
range. Yeah,
This kind of like gritty visual.
There's
that,
there's a lot of
throws
blood
back
and
to,
violence
like
and-
early
yeah.
anime. like really fleshed out characters that I feel are going to get even more fleshed out. Like there's a lot of interesting,
even like the
people going on.
storylines.
The world building is strong.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I haven't. Can you think of anything that's combined all of those things at once, at least recently? Because I can't.
I guess not. The only issue that I see here is the adult issue. Like, there's not that many things that like take the adult angle to anime. Like adult anime is what I'm saying. There's not that much that we watched recently besides like Inuyashiki. That's like the most adult thing we've watched in a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's not a tournament anime.
Well, the next most adult thing I would say that we've watched is probably One Punch Man, because it pokes fun at like everything you've. I would say if there's another thing, that would have to be it.
Yeah, I would say that's more like clever than.
You're not considering Cowboy Bebop though.
Oh no, I think we're talking about recent anime.
Just newer
that's
shit.
why. Okay. That's why I didn't mention.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But yeah, there's a lot of cool shit going on. Can we talk about Yuri's hair and the fact that he looks like the child of Pegasus and Kaiba?
Oh, that's actually very true.
Whoa, that's a good point.
Brendan's talking about Yu-Gi-Oh characters.
Yeah. Think about it. If they fucked and made a man baby, it would be Yuri.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
And that baby worked out a lot.
Yeah.
But also, no, I was going to say Joey Wheeler. His hair looks like a little bit like that too. Joey, Yugi's friend, best friend.
Oh, the Red-Eyes Black Dragon.
The one with like the Jersey accent.
Yugi, yeah. Aren't we in Japan? What? I don't know where they were in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh wait,
they were
speaking
in
of
ancient
which,
Egypt.
Wait, guys, do you think this takes place on Earth? Because I think that it does. Because
there was a crucifix in the guy's like truck.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if that was like something specific. If it was like actually just like, oh, he's like a Christian or like a religious person or like or whatever.
I think so. Well, it has to be Earth, right? If there's a crucifix, that would be weird.
I mean,
if it wasn't.
Maybe.
Well, like religion can leave Earth. If we leave Earth,
right?
Somebody who's religious is bound to leave.
I guess I thought Brendan was asking more about universe. Like, is it in our
too.
world? But it could be in our universe in the future on Mars or something. Yeah,
wait,
I understand.
Here's why I think it's on Earth, or like the thing that made me think it's on Earth. In that like shitty pawn shop where we meet the kids, like the guy who runs the pawn shop, he's got a little snow globe with Mount Fuji in it, and it says Mount Fuji on it.
Oh, so then you just gave us the answer. Yes, it's on.
I mean, it could be. It could also just be Earth memorabilia.
Yeah,
you never know.
So, yeah.
I didn't even consider the show not being on Earth. I just considered it the future.
I also didn't. Yeah.
As soon as I saw like Cowboy Bebop aesthetic, I was like, maybe this is on Mars. Maybe.
Right, yeah,
and then there's like some desert shots, and I'm like, maybe.
It doesn't seem as far into the future as Cowboy Bebop would take place.
Oh, of course not.
What if it's just fully Cowboy Bebop? There's a lot of different...
in the same universe?
There's a big variety of places in the Cowboy Bebop universe.
It's true, yeah.
They straight up go to Earth and it's just like fucking...
Yeah, it's like constantly being berated by meteors or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
right? It's like not safe to live on?
Just being shit on.
Yeah. I was talking about the Cowboy Bebop movie when they're just like in... not Dubai, because it still looks like less technologically advanced than Dubai is right now.
True, yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, man.
I think one more thing on the visuals, just like... I typically, or I really enjoy taking screenshots from the shows I'm watching, because
you do.
It actually just gets me thinking more about. I should say that I'm also really into film, and so it really gets me like thinking about composition. And I was just noticing that this show has, and it takes a lot of care throughout. Like every frame is quite nice looking. Or it's like quite like deliberate.
Yeah,
right? Like they're doing things on purpose, and they put a lot of focus on composing nice shots. Yeah. So I just want to say that like I really enjoy it throughout. So I really like. There's one that Joe in his first fight when he's kind of like out of it. There's a Dutch angle, and it starts from like low on the ring, and he's sitting in his corner, and it like goes up like that to his face, and he's just kind of like all out of it. What's the other guy he fights? Aragaki. Yeah, Aragaki. Yeah. After the fight, they just have a shot on his like leg. His like leg extension,
right,
and they just like leave it on that shot for a while, as like a couple actions come out, and then they show the next shot is a wide shot, and it shows that it's not attached to him, like it's like come off.
Right.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I just like some of the decisions that they made.
Yeah, it's very
on that front. Yeah,
it's very well shot.
Made me think of Edward Elric's automail.
Yeah,
Nice.
totally.
And the pain with like it attaching to the joint,
Right.
the like flesh joint.
What did you guys think of that whole arc with Aragaki and sort of getting more backstory on the coach and stuff like that?
Yeah, I thought that was great. It also reminded me of the whole like Bebop thing, that these are like maybe some of these characters might be past their prime, or they're carrying like that really heavy
Right.
weight with them from something in the past.
Yeah.
And so that it was good to get a window into what Pops's life was like before. We see that he's moderately successful. Like he has his
He had
own
a gym, yeah.
He has a reputation. Like people know him who are higher up.
Right.
So it's
because he must have been a boxer at one point.
Yeah, and then and I know he at the beginning of this series we find him fixing fights, right?
Yeah.
So it's very
And he's in
Right.
debt to the mob, which
Right.
is why they wind up in this predicament with Megalonia to begin with.
To somebody named Fujimaki, some weird guy who's gonna like take out his other eye.
yeah.
I guess he lost his eye that way.
Right.
Yeah.
He just didn't pay his debts on time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Oh man, the whole mob being scary in this is like a big thing because like they give Joe his identity card from someone who didn't pay his debts on time.
Oh.
And the guy who's like
right.
typing in Joe's name is like, oh, you guys are brutal. This guy misses a couple debt payments. You sell his organs off, chop him into pieces, and give his identity to someone. Fuck. It's
Right.
like, oh man.
Yeah. Also, quite a mouth on that computer guy. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are crazy. Like
Y'all are
what is
fucked
what is he, the
anyways.
boss's nephew? Like why was he comfortable saying that?
Maybe that's gonna have to do with like the moral ending of the show. Like it's not gonna be about winning the tournament. It's gonna be about like stopping the mob from killing you and then stopping
Yeah.
the mob in general.
I feel like this is gonna go somewhere we're not expecting it to.
Yeah.
Or I feel like it can only keep up like the boxing, like the actual boxing part of it, for so long. That's not gonna be how it wraps up.
Yeah, definitely.
by
I
a long
think what
shot.
we're seeing is that they're hinting at that this is quite a deep story. I mean, the background of Aragaki, just like him going to war and then losing his legs.
Right.
There's some like really heartbreaking moments where he almost kills himself. Like,
Right.
when
That's
he's
so
in the wheelchair
intense.
and he
Holy
throws
shit.
himself through the window to get into the old gym.
Oh man.
So I think, and that they're doing
That
that,
was
with
so
the character.
sad.
Maybe I don't know if we're going to see him any after these episodes. I assume not.
probably not after
Right?
episode 6
yeah,
because he's
probably not.
wrapped up and,
And-
he's like, I'm ready to move on.
Right.
Bye.
So I think that this is a show that's going to get deeper, and I really would like to see it get deeper.
Also, do you blame the coach for bailing on? Because I don't.
I
'Cause
thought
here's the
that
thing.
was so weird. They were like, you
what
didn't
did
even
he-
look for him after they said he was killed. Like,
It's like what they said.
you were killed, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was grieving. Like he literally
destroyed his
smashed his
TV.
TV. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
feel like he didn't. What bothered me was like he didn't express to Aragaki how much he was hurt when he thought that he died. Because like in Aragaki's eyes, like, oh, like you didn't give a shit. You just moved on, found a new disciple, and closed your gym down. Oh, whatever. And like he was never explicitly like, hey, I was heartbroken. I thought you were legit dead. This is insane. Like there's a big misunderstanding. He's just kind of like nonchalant. Well, I mean, I guess he's not a man of many words, but
Also, why was it so hard for Aragaki to find the coach? Couldn't like no one knew anything?
I mean, he
Like,
went
couldn't he have
underground, I guess.
Where's right? But I don't know. People still know him. Like you think he could have found him? I don't
Right.
know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I mean, he did eventually
That-
find him,
yeah.
but when he did
Yeah.
find him, it was because he was training Joe.
Yeah, that felt like an inconsistency. Like it didn't
Yeah,
seem
like-
right, but I don't know. I
mean,
forgived it.
it made
pretty
me feel-
instantaneously.
It's something that
regardless.
could have been gotten over easily if the characters just talked to each other.
Yeah.
But not in the cool way like Cowboy Bebop where you're like, oh, why can't they just get along? But they're too busy being assholes.
They're just eating eggs and
Yeah.
sitting in silence.
Yeah, then like fixing the issues between them.
Right.
Right. I don't know if it would be that easy because we can see that he went through like Aragaki went through like a really
Like there's trauma there.
Yeah.
So I don't
like
blame him.
actually we talked about Violet Evergarden touching on PTSD and that was the first time I saw an anime do that. This anime
Right.
does do that.
Yeah.
Aragaki has a dream where the bomb goes off again, and it's Pops grabbing his leg and keeping him there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we can see he debated committing suicide. Right. There's a lot of weight that he's carrying, and a good portion of that would be brought on, or it's all caused by the war that I guess he was injured in.
Yeah, of course.
So that was a nice thing to see explored here.
Right, yeah. For a second when that flashback came up, I was kind of like, oh fuck, are we going full Ghost in the Shell? Like, is this just like a new element that they're introducing? Like, are we gonna find out that like, oh, they're part of like some smuggling ring or some shit, and then they're just gonna start shooting up the boxing ring or what? It's like, oh no, never mind, it's a flashback.
Yeah.
Wait, which part?
Like when you see them be all military.
Oh, like the opening scene. Yeah.
I was like, what's going on?
I was so confused too.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? And then, it kind of got pieced together. So I guess we've gotten a little bit more of the background of Pops and Aragaki, but we actually don't know too much about Junk Dog Joe, and we don't know much about the kid. So I think that's
Sachio.
Sachio, yeah. So I think that's somewhere that they're going to go with. Like, I mean, we've seen Sachio has a photo of his parents
inside his hat. Yeah.
So there's more.
I mean, they could just leave it at that and be like, oh, he's just like a dumb orphan.
Maybe.
I was really hoping that they keep the other kids around long enough.
Right.
Like, longer with
they really
Sachio. Like,
them quick.
Because I really liked them when they
too.
came into the show, but then suddenly it was just Sachio, and when Sachio's alone, he's kind of just annoying a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's no Radical Edward. That's for fucking sure.
But yeah.
Is there anything else that you guys would like to see in the show? Like, what are you expecting, or what do you hope that they do?
To be honest, I felt like a couple of like the action sequences kind of dragged a little bit. I mean, some of them were like super like snappy and super fun to watch, but I feel like especially the last fight between him and Aragaki, when it's like, oh, like episode 5 and 6, more or less, right? Mm-hmm. Or maybe it was just 6, but there were so many times where they clash and they come back and they clash and then it's another round, and I was like, how much has changed in the last 3 rounds? How much more determined are they, and like how many variables of like Joe notices something about how he moves, or oh, he's saying the thing that his coach used to say 50-50, yeah, and like that's getting to him, or like, and then I was like, oh, is this it? Is this the big turning point? And then he knocks him down and then he gets back up again. I'm like, oh, and I wasn't really on the edge of my seat for that last fight, and I was kind of like, well, fuck, I hope it doesn't keep doing this where it really drags it out, because I didn't really see much of a point in that. I kind of wish it was a bit snappier. I
gotta say, I do see where you're coming from, but there was one incredible moment with Joe and Aragaki fighting where there's the full 360. It like rushes around them fighting.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like,
are they just like throwing fast punches?
It was so, but I thought that was so cool. And I was reading online, people were talking about it, how, I mean, it's like, also remember like that whole bit was 2D.
Right.
Like the background was probably 3D, but that would have been like a ton of
animation work.
Yeah, of animation work, and it was pretty.
It's definitely.
It was pretty insane. I really enjoyed that moment.
Don't get me wrong. There are so many impressive parts to like a lot of the animation just throughout this thing. It's fucking beautiful.
Right.
But I kind of wish it was like even more intense.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like,
well, I mean, this is only episode 6, right? I mean, that fight with Yuri is going to be.
I really want to stop myself from judging a show based on what's not there. I feel like you should only judge things based on what is there.
Right, for sure.
But
right.
I was definitely disappointed that there wasn't crazy fighting with the arms.
Right.
I was definitely disappointed that there wasn't like some super cool visual shit going on with that.
I was legit sort of hoping for some like kill level fights where it's like, oh, the whole stadium's getting blown up by how crazy they're going, kind of thing.
Right.
That's like Dragon Ball Z level too.
Yeah, dude. Oh,
yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Cell games? Dude.
That's what I wanted, man.
How long did the Cell Games arena last? Like one episode?
They didn't even use it. They essentially
they were just gone.
Yeah.
Love you, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. The more you guys are talking about the fighting in the show, the more it reminds me of Beyblade. And I'm like, whoa, Beyblade was really good. It's some really good scenes. And even though you might think the stakes weren't that high in Beyblade, I swear some of the people were about to die after the matches. Like,
right, yeah.
Some of the enemies were like, my life's attached to my bit beast or some shit.
There was a lot of... There was, like, dude, the stadium got destroyed a couple times in fucking Beyblade.
All the time.
Yeah, there was, like, concrete falling from the sky. I'm like, this shit can't be up to code.
Around like 10-year-old kids.
The same like shitty architect is making all the buildings in these different animes.
He reads the new headline every day. It's like, not again. It's like 50 people die in stadium.
Or like
collapse.
the owners are like, we want this to be a big deal. We want you to put an unstable beam right above. So that if this gets hit, the whole stadium crumbles.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but this show, what's the show called again?
Megalo Box.
There you go. I was going to call it Gearless Joe.
Gearless Joe. Punch Out.
It was made by TMS Entertainment, which also made Akira,
Cool.
Lupin the Third, Detective Conan, which is a really popular
So just
show.
like all the fucking biggest, baddest, most badass shit.
Bakugan, which is the ripoff Beyblade.
Right, I remember that show.
D. Gray Man, which is pretty popular. And Sonic X.
Sanic.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what does that tell us? Because I don't
really know. They definitely have a history of this shit.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Like
Got a fucking
Akira,
legacy, dude.
Akira,
Obviously
Lupin the
Akira,
Third,
yeah.
Detective Conan. Like, that's some...
It makes sense
That's
when you're
some
looking at
shit.
this. You're like,
I haven't heard of the latter two, obviously.
Right. You haven't
Well,
heard
not
of
obviously.
Lupin the
Lupin?
Third?
No.
Oh my god, yeah.
There's a new series now. Or not
Yeah,
new series,
there's
new
like
season.
always a new
Yeah.
series, yeah. But I think there was a recent one starring like a female character and stuff like that.
Lit. I don't know
I don't
shit
really know.
about it.
Yeah, I don't
just
know.
it's
Maybe that's not that
big.
recent. Maybe that's like 5 years ago now, whatever.
Hey.
Anyways, yeah, so the studio is definitely experienced.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The music in this show was really good. I would have liked to have seen more hip hop because they did like a hip hop
it
track.
comes in
or
every now and
one
again.
or two at the very beginning.
Dude, when he's
And then
sitting on the bridge and looking out at the city and he hits his like tape player, it's playing like a lo-fi hip hop.
Yeah,
beat. And
yeah.
I'm like,
That was in like the first or second
nice.
episode, right?
Yeah.
I loved that, and I was hoping to see more of that later on, especially during the boxing, but they didn't.
I honestly
do as
think
much.
the music is kind of understated in this show so far, and it hasn't like stood out so much that it's grabbed me, and I've been like, oh my god! It's not like Fooly Cooley level music with like the pillows and like crazy rock music to this bombastic visual, or like even with Cowboy Bebop with the jazz to all of this crazy action going on.
That's what I was expecting.
I was missing that.
I was expecting that too, and I don't know why that is. Maybe in my mind, because I was comparing it to Cowboy Bebop, I was expecting to be like blown away by music in this series too.
Honestly,
I feel like there's almost slots that you could choose to make like an anime generator, like this genre of music plus this style of visuals plus a story set in this type of scenery.
Yeah.
And like I was expecting like, oh, Megalo Box is trying to fill in, like take out the slots of what Cowboy Bebop did and fill them in with whatever the fuck the creator loves.
Yeah.
And the music is hip hop instead of jazz, but like
that might have been
they did not deliver or
much
are
like,
not delivering so far.
It might have just been too much like Samurai Champloo if they did the hip hop thing. Then it might have been a bit too on the nose. It's like,
also,
we're trying to...
If you just see stills of the main character in Megalo Box, you could be like, is this Afro Samurai?
Yeah,
guys,
right.
Are the characters in the show brown or are they just tan Japanese people?
I think they're just brown Japanese people.
Why
like
can't they
Japanese.
ever be brown?
We don't... Yeah, what the fuck? Where's the brown people representing... in anime? That sentence didn't make sense. Where's the representation?
I want to believe that the main character is brown.
Japan, you owe us.
I want to believe that I could cosplay as this character.
You don't owe us. Keep doing you.
Yeah.
Do we have anything left to say about the show?
No, I don't. I guess I would just say that I'm intrigued and I'm very excited to see what comes next.
You think this is the best recent anime that we watched on the show so far?
I said, is it? I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but to me, the best... For me, the best three animes that we've watched that have come out in the last 2 years are One Punch Man, Mob Psycho, and this. And I'm not sure which one is the best one.
Damn.
Personally, I know you loved Made in Abyss, and I can totally see why.
Right, yeah.
But it doesn't crack the top three for me.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely excited to keep watching this. I think this is one of the coolest things that we've watched so far, and it's very interesting to watch. I don't know if it's like moving me on a spiritual level, but like maybe I don't even want that from this, and I'm like low-key okay with that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the next 7 episodes really grabs me.
Right.
Because right now, it's not moving me on emotional level, and if it's not going to do that, I want it to be cool as fuck.
Yeah,
and I feel
right.
like the cool as fuckness isn't there quite yet.
It has
'Cause
potential, though.
Yeah, it does have potential. Right now, I would only recommend this to somebody if I'm like, hey, want to see a cool, like, artistic gimmick? This show down-resed its art and then re-up-resed it, and it looks like a 90s anime. But I wouldn't really recommend it for any reason besides that right now. But I'm hoping
Right.
that changes.
But also, wait, I think the art style does stand
I
on
think
its
it's a
own
lot
2
more
feet.
than that.
I think
too,
it's
Sean. Yeah.
beautiful.
But we can
Just
argue
like
about
it's
that
just
next
really
time.
good looking.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, yeah, I'm not saying it's not good looking, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's not really blowing me away either.
Okay.
It's definitely better
fair.
looking than a
That's
lot of the
fair,
shows
yeah.
that we watch.
Fair
now.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
So we've been the Shonen Chumps.
We still are
Yeah.
the Shonen Chumps.
We will always be the Shonen Chumps that you can reach at Twitter at Shonen Chumps. You can email us at shonenchumps@gmail.com. We're on iTunes and SoundCloud and Google Play if you want to listen to us, and YouTube.
and all other podcast apps.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Keep hitting us up. We love it when you talk to us. Shout out to everybody who communicates with us on a regular basis. Thank you for giving a shit. We love you.
Oh, and we are actually going to be taking about a month break. Our boy Brennan is going to Japan.
Yeah, I'm fucking off for a bit.
The
Yeah.
Homeland.
And Sean and I aren't. Yeah, if also viewers, if you have any tips for Brennan.
Yeah, we will return. If you're kicking it in Japan from like mid-May to early June and you see a lonesome brown boy wandering the streets of Tokyo, roll the dice and be like, yo, what up, idiot? And if it's me, I'll say hi. Anyways, yeah, we are gonna...
I mean, someone else, the person might say hi, even if it's not you.
I mean,
Yes.
maybe. But yeah, we're going to be gone for a little bit, but we will return with more fresh, tasty, wonderful anime for you and your ears. Mm-hmm. Anyways, thanks for listening. Love you as always. See you, Space Cowboy.
Not dead yet.
Does the song actually go this long? Oh, yeah.
Wait.
We're just going on a loop.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I think that part happens more than once, but that's how it ends, doesn't it?
How does it end?
It's like a big explosion of just...
Yeah.